Welcome to Area DMG.
Welcome back to Radio DMG. I'm your host, Philip Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and I'm here at Nan Desu Kan 2018 here in Denver, Colorado with
Clarine Harp.
Okay, so just in case our studio audience doesn't know who you are and what do you do, who are you and what do you do?
I am the director of DVD, Blu-ray, and video production for Funimation Entertainment, and I've also been working as an anime voice actor for the past 15 years.
How did you get started with that, with voice acting? Do you have any type of classical training or anything of that sort?
Well, I've done quite a bit of radio work, little spots here and there, mostly volunteer work. I also have a background in theater, and I have a musical background as well, which also helps with timing.
Oh, a musical background? So what was the first musical you were in or theater production?
That I don't remember.
Oh.
I've been doing this since I was a child.
Oh.
So that would...
So probably
like
an old thing of Peter Pan or something. That's usually what they make kids do these days.
It might have been actually a Curious George play.
They don't make them do like the Inherit the Wind or South Pacific.
No.
So what do you think so far of Nan Desu Kan this year?
Oh, I love this convention in general. I like the positive energy of the attendees. I really like the staff a lot, and I have a good time every time I come here.
So I don't think we've talked to you before on this, but what do you think of Colorado in general?
Colorado is beautiful, and I do find it unfortunate that I don't get to really explore much while I'm at the convention. So I definitely would like to come back here for vacation. I want to see Red Rocks so bad.
It's great. Just you have to be careful. Like the air's so thin up there, and if you ever really just want to just like almost collapse, just try running up those stairs. You will hurt for a day afterwards.
Thank you.
No, but it's worth it at least once. Concerts there are fantastic. So going back to your work with Funimation, how did you start with, what was the first thing that you worked on producing for Funimation?
Oh, the first thing I worked on producing, the line is a little blurry there because I sort of eased into that job. But I helped work on the Dragon Ball Z, what we call the orange brick sets, those season sets that came out on DVD. I worked on Full Metal Alchemist, the single sticks when those started to come out, Case Closed. And I think those were the first few titles that I worked on.
What would you say is the hardest part about producing those DVDs?
I think there are many challenges. I think the hardest part is maintaining schedules and deadlines between different departments who each have their own schedule. It's kind of like one of the other directors says that I basically manage a 5-ring circus. And so you need to make sure, the motion graphics department needs to get their trailers in by this date. The menus need to be designed by this date. And you need to make sure that everything comes together with enough time to do proper quality control and finish the release.
So it gets kind of busy, just like these conventions can be kind of busy. So far this weekend, what's the best thing that you've seen about Nan Desu Kan this year?
Honestly, the best thing I've seen, for me, the most heartwarming thing is the attendees who've seen me from past years coming up and saying hello and offering me hugs and just saying hi and saying they're happy I'm back.
Just kind of that positive energy?
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely, Jeremy Pita is right, this is like a family.
Oh, it's definitely a family. You've been here forever. It is a, like you said, it's a very positive space. Very positive space. And going back to like positive things, they're doing something positive. I heard that you're the inspiration for a particular webcomic. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm the inspiration for the character Aubrey in Something Positive. And I believe that webcomic has been available for about 18 years, something like that.
So how do you know the person that writes it? Why did he base it on you?
Okay, well, I will clean up the language a little bit for this.
For radio,
this
yes.
So Randy and I have been friends for many years. I would consider him my best friend. And we've been friends since we were teenagers. And he moved to Boston kind of at the end of the late 90s, and I moved to New York. And both of us were pretty lonely. We didn't have a lot of friends in our respective areas, so we would have a nightly phone call where we would just chat with each other. And at that time, he was at a bad job that had a toxic work environment. He was very depressed. So he was calling me each night, and I started joking and calling him Eeyore. And I don't know what kind of mood I was in one night, and I'm sorry to say that one time he called me, and it was just the same. He was calling, he was complaining, and I said, "Why don't you shut up and do something positive with your life for a change?" A couple weeks later, I get a link to something positive. So that's kind of how that started.
You just kind of need that little emotional kick, because sometimes people can, when they're in a toxic environment or a toxic situation, there is that tendency to just kind of just vent and then not do anything about it, the venting without the action.
Thank you for understanding. Because a lot of people thought that I was too harsh with him, but at the same time, because he's such a close friend, sometimes you need to give them a little boost.
People just need like a little bit of a push in one direction, be like, hey, you know what? This isn't a good situation. You need to get out of that. Or sometimes people just need to like get away from something to actually like view whether or not was good, like that situation. So you talk about work environments. What would you suggest for helping people create a less toxic work environment? Because you hear about that so often, like that negative energy that comes from like a hard job or whatnot. What are your suggestions for keeping like your work situation positive? How do people keep positive at, say, Funimation where you work?
Different ways. For my department, we are very collaborative. So we all work together as a team. Sometimes the deadlines, well, actually all the time, the deadlines are very tight. It can be a very stressful job. So I find it very good that we get along and we like each other just as people. So that definitely helps. I also request that everyone, even if we're stressed out, don't snap. Just stop for a moment. Think about what you're going to say, even walk away from the situation and come back to it. Because sometimes we say things in the heat of the moment that we don't mean, and we don't ever want to do that. But, the usual, just be respectful, be kind,
so,
and also assume everybody is trying to do their best work.
So it's something like just to build that community there, build that little family there. So you can also do that kind of like with like outings or with charity events. I heard that you do some stuff with charity? Yes, I've been gathering items on behalf of Funimation to support various charity auctions around the United States since I started working there. So is that what type of charities do you prefer like supporting with those? Like we have a pretty interesting charity with Nan Desu Kan this year. I think it's it's like the planet, some type of planet event. What is the
Love Planet, I think.
Love Planet, yeah. That's what we're doing for the charity auction. What stuff has Funimation provided for the charity auction this year? If we get this up before Sunday, people should sit down and check that out.
Well, we have one-of-a-kind printer art proofs, which are fantastic. I have some autographed items. I have some huge merchandise lots that people need to check out. We have One Piece, and we have a big Dragon Ball Z lot. So somebody else was thanking me for sending some Yu Yu Hakusho stuff, so I'll plug that too.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty great to definitely check those out. If you're listening to this and Nan Desu Kan's already over, go next year, support the charity auction. But yeah, going back to the convention, one thing like we mentioned earlier about like toxic work environments or about just dealing with that depression and stress. One thing I've noticed at a lot of these conventions is there is a bit of a convention high. People go into the convention, they're with a lot of people that they might not see very often, and they're just all the way up here, essentially, like several levels up. But when they get back to their regular job or to their school or just their home life, that just sometimes seems to drop off. That energy just dissipates. Do you have any suggestions on how people can keep that energy, lock in that family energy, that positive energy from the convention, and then take that and spread it to their everyday lives?
Yes, I do. On a very personal level, I started a yoga practice 2 years ago. And I've recently, within the past year, introduced meditation onto that. And that has been a complete life changer. It has helped me balance. It's helped me become more present to the situation. It has also helped me maintain positivity during times of stress. And I feel that it makes me a better version of me, if that makes sense. So I do kind of keep myself leveled up. And it's a lifelong practice because there is no end goal. And every day is different, and it teaches me patience with myself. So I think that I started going to conventions actually when I was 14. So I would go to sci-fi, gaming, anime conventions, and there weren't a lot of people my own age there. Everyone at that time was a lot older. And I would get really excited because there were a few peers who were my age, and that was the one place we could go to that was a safe spot where nobody thought we were weird or outcast or anything like that. And I find that now that conventions have become more and more diverse, I think it's much easier to maintain that positive energy whenever you leave because you can also keep in touch with these friends via social media, via Facebook or Instagram. No, I think it's a good thing.
So going back to the yoga you mentioned, what type of grounding exercises do you prefer? For me, I do the whole square breathing. You breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, out, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. And also if I feel like a little bit more anxiety, I take something cold and just place it on like my wrist or the back of my head or forehead and stuff. What do you do for grounding?
I do sun salutations. Sun salutations. I really enjoy a lot of deep stretch classes because the studio I go to does that as well, where you just marinate in the stretch for a while. And I found that it releases a lot of tension. Yoga has also fixed my back because that's where a lot of my stress settles. So it just depends on the day, honestly. The same method for relieving stress doesn't work day to day.
Yeah, because sometimes you just have to mix it up a little bit. So before we go, is there anything that you're currently working on that you'd like to go ahead and promote? Or anything you'd like to promote?
Currently, we are working on so much stuff. So since I work on projects so far in advance, it's very difficult for me to say what's coming up because I don't want to give any spoiler alerts just in case the company hasn't announced yet. But we do have a new simuldub season coming out on Funimation.com. And if you guys don't know what a simuldub is, Funimation has been dubbing, I think, 10 to 18 shows every single broadcast season. We post an English dub 2 weeks after broadcast in Japan, and that's been unheard of. So I would definitely like to promote that. The staff is working very hard.
Oh, and where can people find those simuldubs?
No, Funimation.com.
Funimation.com. And they should probably check those up because sometimes with the simuldubs, the version you have up there for the simultaneous dub is slightly different when it gets to Blu-ray and DVD.
Correct.
So that's the best way to hear it exclusively at Funimation.com.
Yes.
And so speaking of websites and where to find things on there, is there anything, where can people find you online?
I am fairly private, but people can find me on Instagram.
So, did you want to
Clarine Harp.
Clarine Harp?
It's very easy.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for the interview. This has been Philip Wesley with Radio DMG, Area DMG, and DMGIs here at Nan Desu Kan 2018 with
Clarine Harp.
And until the next video or show comes out, you are now caught up. Morning, Maya.